Everywhere on earth, people worshipped grain. From barley sprouting on Osiris's body in ancient Egypt, to the rice born from the sacrifice of Dwi Sri on the island of Bali, to the blue corn maidens of the Hopi civilizations. Every ancient culture saw grain not just as a food, but as the body of the gods. And here is the real secret. Even our words still carry this memory. Did you know that the word ceremony derives from the word Ceres, the Roman goddess of grain? Did you know the word companion derives from the Latin roots com and panis, to break bread with? Our language is full of hidden harvest rituals. Come with me on a journey through time and space. This all started in what is known as the Neolithic Revolution. Around 10,000 years ago, people shifted from foraging to farming. They created aggregate societies. They were growing wheat, rice, barley, maize. These grains built the first known cities that we have recorded. Temples weren't just places of worship, they were granaries. People would keep their grain there for the long winters. Priests were considered guardians of the grain and of the harvest. Rome literally ran on bread. Emperors kept the people loyal with what was known as a grain dole. And the word Lord in the English language directly translates to loaf guardian. And the word lady in the English language directly translates to the maker of bread. Even our calendar was built on grain. Months were the time where you would plant and harvest, and taxes were collected once a month. The word calendar also derives from the root word Ceres, the goddess of grain. Time, power, and politics were measured in bushels of barley and sacks of rice. Not only did grain build the basis of human society, but also the basis of human beliefs. Some of the most ancient gods on record are in fact gods of grain and gods of fertility. For example, Osiris, the ancient god of Egypt, is depicted in stories sprouting wheat and barley from his corpse. Annual festivals grew Osiris's breads. They were beds of barley and wheat growing from his body. And people would put grain in tombs to symbolize resurrection. Also in ancient Greece, the grief of Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, when her daughter Persephone is taken into the underworld, explains the cycle of the seasons. During the Eleusinian mysteries, the festivals of Persephone and Demeter, initiates would drink a barley beer as a ritual of rebirth. In Mexico, the Mexica people worshipped many gods. Some of them were also gods of grain. There's Chicomecoitl, which translates to seven serpent. She was a goddess of maize. They would give her offerings of tamales, tortillas, and sometimes even human sacrifices to ensure an abundant harvest. In the Maya culture, there was also Hunapu, the maize god. He was killed and reborn. His head sprouted into corn. Humans were literally created from the dough of maize in the creation myth of the Mayas, the Popol. In the Incan tradition as well, there's Mama Sara, Mother Corn. She embodies these sacred multi-headed maize cobs kept in temples, the goddess of abundance. In Indonesia, there's the goddess of rice, Dewi Sri, her body becoming the first rice plants ever planted. To this day, Balinese irrigation systems are organized as sacred offerings to the goddess herself. In Japan, there's Inari Okami, the deity of rice and prosperity. Fun fact, Inari Okami is non-binary, sometimes depicted as a beautiful woman, sometimes depicted as an old man, and sometimes depicted as an androgynous spirit. Inari is often accompanied by foxes with keys to the granaries. Almost every major civilization personified grain as a god, or even as the sacrificed body of a god. To this day, we throw rice at weddings as a fertility blessing, and this goes back for thousands of years. In China, some people will put rice in the mouth of the dead. This harkens back to the same iconography of wheat sprouting from Osiris's body. In the Hopi tradition, corn was often buried with the dead as food for those in the afterlife. In India, there is a festival known as Pongal. They boil rice with milk for the sun. In Japan, there is a festival known as Ninanme, where emperors will offer the first rice to the kami, to the spirits. And in the Celtic tradition, there is a festival known as Lugnasad, where the first loaf of bread is sacrificed to the gods. And of course, how can we forget that in the Christian Eucharist, bread is seen as the body of Christ? It is yet another echo of grain being a symbol of the gods. Every sacred meal we share, from bread and wine to beers and sake, it carries the DNA of the ancient grain rituals of our ancestors. Our very language is a harvest field. Every time we say the word companion, every time we say the word company, celebration, ceremony, we are whispering the names of forgotten harvests. Grain is quite the miracle that built our world. It shaped our calendars, our gods, our politics, even our words. When you eat rice, bread, or tortillas, you're not just eating food. You're tasting history, myth, and ritual all at once. If you want the full story, come with me to discover the details of Osiris, Dewi Sri, Mama Sara, and the Hopi Blue Corn Maiden. I have a full episode, and trust me, you'll never look at a grain of rice the same way again.